All right, Haley, I'm going to help you out with this one. What they're asking you to do is add this line on your picture. Well, let me take a step back here. They want you to look at the original fraction, and in the original fraction, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. That's how they got that denominator right there, and one of them was colored in, so 1/4. Then what they're asking you to do is to break that into pieces, and they wanted you to break it into 2 rows. So if you slice it right in the middle, now there's 2 rows available there. How many are colored in? 2, and that's how they got that numerator out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can write easier. There would be 8 for the denominator. The next step then is to decompose that 1/4. So they're saying 1/4 is equivalent to 1/8 and 1/8. Sorry about my handwriting, kiddo. 1/8 plus 1 out of 8. And then when you add 1/8 plus 1/8, you get 2/8. And we're going to look at adding fractions really soon where you have that common denominator. You just add the numerators. And then another way to look at that is 1/4 is 2 of the fraction 1/8. And that's multiplying a fraction by a whole number, which we're going to look at as well. So they're looking at adding fractions, but they're also breaking 1/4 down to multiply fractions. And when you do 2 whole times 1/8, you get 2/8, because all that really is, think about repeated addition, is 1/8 plus 1/8 is 2/8. So a whole bunch of different ways to make equivalent fractions. Breaking into pieces, but they're still equal, decomposing those pieces and then recomposing or adding them back, and then also looking at multiplying. So let's look at question 2. The original fraction is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the denominator because there's 5 total pieces, and one of them is colored in. They want you to make 2 rows, so you could simply just slice it right down the middle. And your new, and I got 2 out of that because here's 1 row, here's 2 rows. Your new fraction, you would have 2 pieces colored in now out of 10. So that's a simple equivalent fraction. But then they wanted you to kind of look at it as how could you can decompose it with it, break that 1/5 down into pieces. And that 1/5 would be 1/10 plus 1/10. And this 1/10 is right here. That's this one piece out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this 1/10 is this piece here. And of course, when you add those back together, you get 2/10. And then if you want to look at it one more way as a multiplication, 1/5 can also be written as 2 times 1/10, which is the same as 2/10. So 3 ways of looking at the same fraction. Equivalent fractions, decomposing and then adding those, decomposing and then multiplying those. And we'll be looking at all these more and more over the weeks to come. On the very, very last one there, big difference. You're starting with 1/3 because there's 1 colored in out of 3, but you're cutting it into 4 rows this time. So there's 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows. So I cut my half in half. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 colored in, and a total of 12 pieces. So 1/3 is equivalent, and that's my equal sign, to 4/12. I can break 1/3 down into smaller pieces. If I just looked at this one piece, that's 1 out of all 12. So that's 1/12. And how many of those do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I would do 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12. And again, I'm running out of room here, kiddo. And when I add all those together, I get that same 4/12. And then one more way to look at that is that multiplication way. 1/3 is equivalent to, well, shoot, how many 12ths did we make? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's your whole number. We had 4 1/12. And there you go, kiddo. I hope that helps.